Welcome to Law and Omen. My name's Kristin, and this is a Minisode. Chanel wasn't able to record this week due to studying, so I thought, why not cover something very topical? I thought I would talk about the Queen of England, well, all the ghosts that go along with all the properties that the royal family has. So, just a bit of info. Queen Elizabeth II is Queen of the UK and 14 other Commonwealth realms. She was born in Mayfair, London, and she was the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York. Her father acceded to the throne in 1936 upon the abdication of his brother King Edward VIII, which made Elizabeth the heir presumptive. And that's a quote. All the sources will be in the show notes. She was born on 21st of April 1926, which is 96 years ago, and her spouse is the late Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. He was born 1947 and died in 2021. So why I chose to cover this is because this weekend marked the Queen's 70 years on the throne, which is insane. It is the longest that any royal has ever served. This is another quote. On the 6th of February this year, 2022, Her Majesty the Queen became the first British monarch to celebrate a Platinum Jubilee, marking 70 years of service to the people of the United Kingdom, the realms, and the Commonwealth. So in the spirit of the Jubilee, let's get to some royal ghost stories. So the first property is Windsor Castle. Construction started in 1070, which is incredibly long ago, and around 25 ghosts have been reported at Windsor Castle. The ghost sightings there include King Henry VIII, King George III, and a young grenadier guard who shot himself on the Long Walk. Queen Elizabeth I is said to haunt the library in heels. She was apparently seen by Queen Elizabeth II and her late sister Margaret. The ghost of Herne the Hunter, a huntsman for King Richard III, has been seen in Windsor Great Park, and those who have seen him are said to be struck with misfortune. He is said to have antlers, ride a horse, rattle chains, and torment cattle, and it's believed he is seen when a monarch is close to death. Then there's Buckingham Palace, which is in London. The residence has been in the royal family since 1703. A chained monk haunts the rear terrace where a monastery once was. A ghost known as Major John Gwynne, who was King Edward VII's private secretary, has been seen in the office on the first floor. This office is where Gwynne unfortunately took his own life after he and his wife divorced. Then there is Balmoral Castle in Scotland, and this is where the royal family typically spends summer months, and the ghost sighting there has been of John Brown. He was a friend and servant of Queen Victoria, and it is said they fell in love. So his spirit is seen, he's walking around wearing his kilt. Then there is Hampton Court Palace in London. 2 of Henry VIII's wives died, and his favourite wife, Jane Seymour, died their days after giving birth to his son. A pale figure is said to appear on the Silver Stick stairs, which lead to the room in which she died. Henry VIII's 5th wife, Catherine Howard, was beheaded in 1542 when she was only 19 years old, and for adultery. You know, the man who had, 8 wives? It is said that her spirit is reliving the moments of her arrest, running down the hall screaming for mercy, which just must be an awful thing to see. And then there's Kensington Palace. It was used as a residence since the 17th century. Ghost sightings include Peter the Wild Boy, Queen Victoria's aunt, Princess Sophia, and Queen Mary II, wife of King William III. King George II is said to haunt the London home of Prince William and Duchess Kate. His death occurred in 1760, and the story goes that he died while staring out the window as he was waiting for his troops to return during the 7 Years' War. Then there is Frogmore Cottage. This is in the Windsor countryside. This house was actually gifted to Harry and Meghan by the Queen. The bodies of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert are held there at the property. Prince Harry and Meghan also stayed there before they moved to California. So no real ghost stories there, it's just resting place of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. Then the Tower of London, which I'll probably go into detail in a full episode that we do. because there are probably a lot of stories connected to the Tower of London. So this fortress housed many royal deaths. The most famous ghost is Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII's second wife. She was beheaded in 1536 on the Tower Green. She is known to be seen around the execution site. And there's the Palace of Holyrood House. It's in Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's the Queen's official residence there. Mary, Queen of Scots, had an affair with David Rizzio. Her husband, Lord Darnley, found out and had Rizzio killed while the 7-month pregnant Queen was forced to watch. Lord Darnley died from a mysterious explosion, which is speculated to have been ordered by Queen Mary as revenge. Lord Darnley is said to be seen in his old rooms. There's Sandringham House. The royal family typically spend Christmas there. And in this one, poltergeists have been known to pull blankets off of beds, play with the lights, and send cards flying across the room. There's Admiral Hall, and this is Prince William and Kate's country home. Henry Walpole's family once owned the Norfolk estate. He was tortured and killed at the Tower of London for Catholicism, and he is seen roaming the grounds. St. James Palace was built by Henry VIII in the 1530s. It was home to royals for 300 years. An apparition seen there is royal valet Joseph Sellis, who appears with a slit throat. So, obviously not very pleasant. A lot of tragedy, a lot of sadness, related to these people's lives and deaths and the stories. I never thought of how many properties the royal family actually have, and to think of how old these buildings are. The spirits that must be attached to all those events that happened there. So yes, this is an extremely short minisode. Thank you for listening. Sorry that it's such a short episode. We will definitely be back in full force from next weekend on Sunday when you get your normal full-length episode. Life has just been very busy for both Chanel and I. I'm sure once exams are over for her, she'll also have more time to get to researching, so we can bring you the stories that we want to cover. So please do join us again next week, where we will be covering more of the tales from South Africa and beyond. You can find our episodes on our website, lawandomen.com. You can email us at info@lawandomen.com. You can find us on our social media channels with the handle @LawandOmen. You can find our episodes on all major streaming platforms. Please do get in touch. Send us your listener stories, your experiences, suggestions. We want to hear from you. Also, please, if you do like our episodes, if you do like what we do, leave a review. Tell your friends about us. Tell your enemies about us. And most importantly, please stay safe. And be good to one another. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks again for listening. Bye!